On this week's episode of Garbage, but Useful Garbage, we have a Crapmade. Now you're probably wondering to yourself, why do I have another Crapmade? There is a simple reason for that. This is an uncommon Crapmade. This is a Sergio Firenze Craftmade. It was one of their obscure contemporary models available in the 90s. It was last available in 1999. Yeah, not many of these actually surface too often. So yeah, many of you know that I despise this company. I despise Craftmade. Why? Because they have always been a second-rate showroom brand. Casablanca, Emerson, Fanimation, Hunter, for those who sold them, those are first-rate, or were first-rate brands, right? Then you had the people trailing behind, like Craftmade, Monte Carlo, Corum, Minka Air. Those were the second-rate manufacturers. Nicor, second-rate. Garbage. Complete and utter shit. But why do I have this, you wonder? Like I said, this is one of the less common Craftmades out there. This one, again, was one of those weird contemporary designs. It didn't sell particularly well. And it came in a couple finishes. I think it came in chrome. I think it came in brass, it came in white, it came in gloss black. Maybe copper. I don't really know exactly if that was a finish option or not. But these don't pop up very often. They don't. This is the first one I've ever seen. Well, actually, no. That's a lie. This is the second one I've ever seen for sale in the wild. First one did not have blades, so I didn't get it. Boo hiss. This one was complete, so naturally I jumped on it. This fan, actually, it does have a 188 by 15 in it, so it's not terribly underpowered. That's a 14-degree blade pitch. So, I mean, power is decent. It's not a terrible performer. Of course, we're going to see how it really performs, but spec-wise, it's not terrible. But again, this is Craftmade we're talking about. Their housings are paper thin. Everything bends, everything flexes, everything dents. Alright, they cut corners with some of their quality in terms of like motor housing quality, you know, stamping thickness, all that good stuff. Because again, second rate. But it's still a cool, weird, quirky 90s fan. Now the company is extremely difficult to deal with today. Ever since they were sold, this was a few years ago, they have been very, very, very difficult. Their freight policies are complete and utter garbage. So yeah, they charge for freight and they charge a lot, and it's ridiculous. So, and the company itself, this customer service is just not that good. So yeah, that's another reason I hate Craftmade. It's from a business standpoint. So let's see how this thing runs. Okay, so we have it on low speed right now. Now, like every Craftmade up until about 2005 or so, could be a little off with that year, this is a 4 or 5 blade fan. Yeah, back in the 80s and 90s and into the early 2000s, Craftmades were 4 or 5 blade configuration. This was an unusual trait among the second-rate lighting brands. Now, all the first-rate ones, except for Hunter, offered 4 or 5 blades by default. Casablanca, Emerson, Fanimation, anything with a rubber flywheel, basically. So yeah, they had a patent for this. Unfortunately, yeah, they stopped actually doing it around 04 or 05. I forget the exact day. I think it was 04. So now everything's 5-blade only, or whatever. But, yeah. So the low speed is a little bit fast, but that makes sense because these blades are narrow. Yeah, it's a 14-degree pitch. Could have probably stood to go to 15, but yeah, the low speed's a little fast. 15 would have slowed it down a little more, made it a little more, you know, average, a little more typical. So. Doesn't really have too much of a hum. Of course, the hum you hear is from the light below me, but once I get some of that good old LED Z's into this thing, oh yeah, it won't matter anymore because LEDs are freaking silent. Let's go to medium. I like how the switch housing is very, very flat. The medium speed is pretty average. Maybe a teensy bit fast, but nothing too out of the ordinary. When I found this fan, it had a 24-inch downrod on it, and it had literally arrived at the place a day before. So I got it fresh, which was cool. Craftmade had a couple of different blade iron designs for this fan. It depicted them, I mean, maybe this was in the earlier days, maybe around 94, they were changeable irons, and then later on they made them into, you know, all-in-one. I guess what I'm trying to say is early on they may have had blade irons with medallions, with blade badges separate. And later on maybe they changed it so it was all in one. But still, they had different blade badge designs, different blade iron designs. And this one is not the standard blade badge design. This one is actually one of the optional designs in the catalog. Because the standard design was a waffle pattern, a gridiron pattern akin to, say, the Spring Wind fans. You know, one thing Craftmade was innovative with was the, you know, the boob light, the fan, or the cameo. It was a 6-blade monstrosity, which was essentially a boob light with blades, and everyone hates boob lights. Got a little bit of a tick to it, that's just from the wobble. One of the blades is a little warped. In fact, a few of the blades are warped, but that's nothing a weight can't fix. Yeah, this thing performs adequately. I would say it's doing about 200 RPM on high, which is not bad. But the blades are narrow, so it's not going to move the most air compared to, say, Casablanca, but yeah. Still, it's Crapmade. But like I said, the only reason I got it was because rarity. Because even the crappiest things are good if they're rare. Let it coast. See, anytime a company gets sold, it means management is completely upended. Alright, it means the old ways are done. New employees come in. It's often a bunch of friggin' bean counters who don't give a shit about any sort of loyalty the retailer or the vendor had with the company previously. They don't care. They only care about numbers. And that, unfortunately, is what went down with Craftmade. Same with Hunter. Hunter was recently sold as well. I'm not sure who bought them, but again, bean counters. It happened with Emerson as well towards the end, before they sold their fan division to Luminance. Now they're known as Cassie Iron and Home. But that's a different story for a different time. But you see the design of the badges. They're a bit ornate. Definitely with that higher end kind of aesthetic. So, still a neat fan. Will I keep it? No. No, I will not. Eventually, it will end up in someone else's hands. Because I don't like Craftmades. I really don't. And I've mentioned the multiple reasons as to why. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I said, quality is decent on paper, but Craftmates to me have also always been just builder fans with big motors. It's like a Chevy Chevette with a V8 in it. Sure, you could do it. Yeah, it'll be powerful, but the rest of the product will suck. It'll be flimsy and rattly and cheap as shit. Ugh. That's how Monte Carlo used to be. Of course, now that Visual Comfort bought them out, they're probably going to make them the next Casablanca in terms of quality materials and, you know, turning a shit company into something great, in other words. So, and the bearings on this fan are good. It smells like clean house, which is always nice. It had a 24-inch downrod on it when I got it, so I just kludged something on to make it more reasonable for the purpose of this clip. Needless to say, I need to go to more Habit Craps and buy more short downrods. The bearings are evenly worn. It does have a bit of dust on it, so it had been used. There's no date on it, so I can't really tell you much there, but and there you have it. Today's useful garbage. A Craftmade Sergio Firenze.